Trump says something very funny. This is a video you were talking about, and I accidentally saw it yesterday.
So
the what do you call it? Friend got a fat shot. Cheaper overseas and
It's
drug
not
executives cope to overcharging. You guys, when you watch this video, Brandon, if you want to pull it up, it's full-on comedy. This doesn't make any sense. Pause it. Whatever you're doing, put your coffee down because you're going to spill it on yourself. I'm gonna save you from it. Just listen to this if you haven't seen it. Go ahead, Adam. Stop.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up, and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. Said, President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said,
Get a refund, fatty.
I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
So funny.
Check this out. Let me read this to you.
Fat shot.
President Trump shared a neurotic and very, very, very top guy businessman friend, prescribed a highly neurotic businessman, very seriously overweight, $88, and it's $1,300. Dude, Trump signed an executive order. If you want to pull up the tweet when he writes this, Brandon, I don't know if you have it or not. If you have it, just pull it up. Signed an executive order to lower U.S. drug prices, requiring federal programs like Medicare and Medicaid to pay rates matching other developed countries, claiming our country has the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by sometimes a factor of 5, 6, 7, and even 8 times. And that pharmaceutical companies make more than 2/3 of their profits in America, despite U.S. having only 4% of the world population. Adam, thoughts?
Well, listen, Trump is the Don Rickles of presidents. His ability to make abject, sort of high-level, abstract ideas relatable is second to none. So in comedy, Vinny, you would know this, the term he's using is called personification. When you personify something or some concept or some person, it boosts people's imagination and it simplifies complex ideas and it enhances the emotional impact. So rather than talking about drug prices, he's like, let me tell you about my fat, amazing, brilliant, sloppy, smart, gross, amazing, gross friend.
Incredibly wealthy.
What a guy, what a loser, what a guy. The biggest loser. You know who did this better than anybody was Dave Chappelle. Do you remember on the Chappelle show, he would personify and humanize drugs and STDs. He's like, hey, what's going on? Syphilis, man, I'm just out here burning people up. So, hey, what's up, herpes? Hey, I'm hanging out. So you turn these people into characters. Trump made drug prices funny and relatable. Remember the skit when Dave Chappelle talked about his white friend? He's like, yeah, you got to watch out for these white guys hanging out with all these black gangs. You never know what those white guys did.
Adam, what do you think about the story?
Here's
the
point.
Now want to tell me the history of comedians and what they said.
No, Pat. Let me get to my point.
Please do.
The point is we would not be talking
7.
about this
Yeah.
if he didn't use personification about his fat friend.
You don't think so?
We would not be it would not be a main story. We would maybe glance over it a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that he talked about his fat friend and personified this, and let me
So
tell
you
you
have
about my
no
fat sloppy
opinion on
friend.
the actual story. The fact that the
point
drug
is
is $88.
Jesus, Pat, I'm trying to get there.
It's been 2 minutes. You're telling us how much comedy you watch.
It's been 20 seconds.
Tell us about the story.
Okay.
What do you think about the actual story? Go back to the tweet. Let me read this while you're giving me a historian for us of comedy. So Donald Trump, here we go. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the U.S. were so much higher in price than they were in other nations, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the exact same laboratory or planned by the same company. It was always difficult to explain and very embarrassing because, in fact, there was no correct or rightful answer. The pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs and that all of these costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by the suckers of America alone. Campaign contributions can do wonders, but not with me and not with the Republican Party. We are going to do the right thing, something that the Democrats have fought for many years. By the way, this is something that Bernie Sanders would always talk about, but this guy's getting done. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Can I finish my point?
I'm going to come back to you. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Well, I've never had syphilis, but I enjoy comedy. But now I will quickly get to the drug prices. Now, here's what's going on.
That's bad comedy right there.
Watch this. Watch this.
I didn't even get it.
Vinny, watch this.
Nothing with numbers, Tom.
It's
Nothing.
been 2 minutes.
But these
Can we get
drug
to the point?
prices are just like student loans. Why do universities keep raising up tuition? Because someone else is paying for it.
Of course.
The student loan pays for it because they get the student loan. Student loan pays a high-priced tuition, and then they're stuck with the price. Guess what? The reason drug companies are able to do this in America is because most people had health insurance through their employer. A lot of people did, and that
it's a hidden cost nobody ever sees.
It's a hidden cost nobody ever sees.
He's right.
So you could raise up the prices, and then how do the consumers see it? They don't blame the drug companies. They say, Vinny, did you see we have to pay another 15% for our share of the health insurance? I can't believe that.
It's a hidden tax in
It's
your
a hidden
insurance.
tax on the back.
It's a hidden tax. That's exactly the way to put it.
And so what he's doing...
Thank you for making us smarter, Tom.
Thank you,
But can you
Tom.
tell us 3 examples of comedy and on how to like spin it and bring it back? Because I need a little bit more history, Tom.
I'm not going to go...
All right,
I'm not going to
Brandon,
stand up,
can you
but I'm
play
going to say this.
clip?
This is the
Hey, wait. I'm going to take you really quick here.
ahead.
And there's also a thing in contract law called most favored nation.
That's what-
Meaning if all of us had agreements to, work as union workers and our contract said we have a most favored nation. So if Vinny gets a raise to $16 an hour from 15, and we all have the same number of years of experience as Vinny, we get $16 an hour. That's called most favored nations. What Trump is saying is drug companies are selling things all over the world. I want most favored nation for the U.S. So if you're selling it lower in Germany, that's the price I want the U.S. consumer to get. And that's the executive order he signed. He's not trying to arbitrarily drop the prices and do wage and price controls. He's saying to them, Vinny, if you're selling aspirin for $2 in Germany, you got to sell it for $2 here. He's not selling them what price to sell it at.
Yeah.
He's saying,
Fair.
you apparently
But you know
think
what
it's
the problem
perfectly
is?
fine.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is, though? The problem is the patent laws that we have in the big pharma industry. It's ridiculous, and what the lawyers do with it. Rob, Brandon, can you go to the clip that you have with the
RFK?
RFK?
But and it's a long. But this was
No,
a
it's
short
not. It's
one.
59
No, this
seconds.
one's a short. The
Yeah.
longer one. It was such an amazing freaking speech he gave in there, and then he gives him credit here, and it was fantastic.
Is it the credit, or is he giving it? Because I've seen the credit part.
No, I think this is talking about
This is just the
Elizabeth
credit,
Warren and
or
all
is he
them.
saying anything about the actual?
He's calling out Elizabeth Warren and Bernie
Okay,
Sanders.
go ahead and play the clip.
Okay.
But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies.
75.
We spend in our country $11.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, so Adam,
some
I'm going to
sick
come back
people.
to you.
Sure.
Thoughts?
So where I was going with the whole personification thing is this is what makes Trump unique. Is Trump the first president to bring up how big of a mess our drug system is, or our healthcare or sick care system is? Is he?
No.
No. Bernie's been talking about it. Elizabeth Warren's been talking about it. Obama's been talking about Obamacare, drug prices. Biden talked about it. But the point is, Trump is able to tell stories that you're able to gravitate towards and understand. My stupid, fat, beautiful friend. That's memorable. And he's able to move the needle because
We
he's
got
such
that
a brilliant
point.
marketer.
We fully got
so
that
what's
point.
the point is that he's doing things that other people have talked about, but he's doing them. So we talk about free markets in the United States.
I just came
the
back before
healthcare
you to say the same thing.
and the drug care situation in the
Yeah.
United States. We don't have free markets in the drug situation and in the healthcare. We pride ourselves on free markets, but we don't have them within our system. There's a lack of competition. You talked about the patent system. I remember when you were talking with Vivek on stage about, because he wasn't he a biotech guy? Didn't he have a medical company that he understood this concept, Pat? Vivek?
Yeah.
Did he not? So he talked about the exclusivity and what companies are able to do and like how you're not allowed to introduce generic alternatives into the marketplace. So there's a lot of mess that's been going on that they've been trying to fix forever. But because of Trump's ability to move the needle, they're able to do that.
But Adam, you mentioned Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, all these people. All of these guys are bought and paid for by pharma. Trump doesn't need any of them. He's not bought by any of them. So they all talk the talk. This is walking the walk. This is actually doing it and putting his money where his mouth is. And this is a great freaking...
Can I tell you something again? For me, this is great.
That's amazing.
But it's another quick fix. What we need to do is change the patent laws of Big Pharma.
Can he do that?
Yes, of course. Because the same way they extended it by lobbyists, you can shorten it. All they need to do is shorten the lifespan of... You should have a patent. You should have a run rate. You should have some years where you have ahead of everything else. Pharmaceutical patents granted 20 years from the filing date, providing exclusive rights to manufacture, use, and sell a drug for that period. This exclusivity incentivizes innovation, but can also lead to higher drug prices. Beyond the 20-year patent, regulatory exclusives like orphan drug exclusive can further extend market protection. So not only do they do a 20-year, and then there is now a way to extend it for another 18 years, another 20 years. So then guess what? They can sell a drug that costs them $2 or 45 cents or $3 or $1.20. They can sell it for $800. They can sell it for $190. They can do that. And then the moment the patent expires, have you seen what happens to the prices when the patent expires?
All the way down to cents.
It drops in ways that nobody even can understand. So for me, it would be great for Bobby to work closely with the president to get working on the patent laws that Big Pharma has. If you reduce it to 10 years, to 8 years, to 7 years, you know what that'll do? It'll dramatically drop the prices of health insurance. So what are we paying right now for health insurance? Tom, if we reduce, let's just kind of spitball here. What happens if we reduce patent law from what it is 20 years to 7 years? How much do you think it'll reduce costs? Brandon, Tom, what do you think?
I think it would immediately reduce monthly health insurance premiums for Americans by like 15%, and over time, probably a third. Wow. And I say that because you know what the drugs do. And I've gone through things with my daughters who needed particular drugs when they were very, very, very young because of some anomalies. And thank God they're both really helpful. But also, here's something else that happens. If you, every 10 years, expire the patent, what happens is I got to run faster cadence. So maybe that's more medical research and more projects running faster that helps good drugs get invented that help a lot of other things, number one. And also, it's not just that the price will go down for the average consumer on their health insurance. It will also go down for the federal government on Medicare. Because what is Medicare Part D? It's a special insurance you get. D stands for drugs. It's for if you have a condition, you have a thyroid condition or something, you have to take a special medication that's more expensive, it's not covered fully under Medicare. And they even lobby to make it so that they can't prescribe you the generics. So they're in the knickers of Medicare like that. And so now you would also make it so that maybe elderly people on Medicare, the U.S. tax dollars would go farther so they could get the thyroid drugs and things that they need, and they wouldn't be reaching into their pocket for Medicare Part D.
I love that, Tom. What a great breakdown. Thank you for doing that. Brandon, what would you add to that?
Yeah, so you know one of the most unfortunate things about this is that it incentivizes bad behavior. So I worked at a big pharma company. I did global security there for a couple of years. And like, you know what their most resources went into? Lobbying DC and trying to extend their patent. So they had this one drug that made them a multi-billion-dollar company. And like every last bit of effort and energy went towards just tweaking that drug a little bit so they could extend the patent. And like everybody was freaked out. That was their number one concern, is extending the patent so that they couldn't change their $100,000 drug per treatment to like
per treatment.
Yeah. So this was a rare disease drug that was $100,000 per treatment. Would have been pennies in the dollar if it lost the patent.
That's the problem.
But they so they're not putting their energy towards the right things.
And by the way, you know who knows this? You know who knows this issue?
Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy knows
so that's
it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he's okay? And I get the quick fix. Do you think he's actually thinking this big?
Bobby? For sure he knows.
Okay, and how long would something like that if he starts right now.
Oh, bro, well, let me tell you.
With the
what-
resistance
no,
of freaking Big Pharma?
Let me tell you what that's like. You ready? What happened the more the trade talks got tougher and tougher and tougher for China. You all of a sudden saw what happened with Pakistan, India with tensions and all this. And all of a sudden people are worried, what are they capable of doing, right? Okay. If in America you attack one industry, whether you prevent them from advertising on TV or you prevent them from having a 20-year monopoly with these patent laws, you're going to see gangsters in ways you've never seen before.
I agree.
And that's the Big Pharma gangsters.
That's them.
Those guys are not the types of gangsters you think and you see in movies. You know, name the biggest gangsters. The Al Capones have nothing on Big Pharma's gangsters. Nothing. They have nothing on their lobbyists. Nothing. The access to power that they have to be able to destroy your life is unbelievable.
Wow.
So, but to me, I think if you truly care about the future of America and taxes and all this other stuff, go address the real issue. Do you know how big of an industry cancer is every year? 200 billion. Who makes that 200 billion? What happens if you cure cancer and you come up with something?
Gone.
That 200 billion
Business
is
is
gone. There's a lot of what happens if you eliminate war? What happens to those
All
industries?
the bombs, all the
Hundreds of
missiles.
billions of dollars is gone. So to me, fix the patent in every possible way, things will be positively impacted. The Lemon campaign has become a massive hit. This is a gift that gets sent to people who are maybe going through a challenging season right now with a lemon hat, with the whole campaign. The thought is about when life gives you lemons, which a lot of people have had that maybe recently. If you know anybody, it is so amazing because you get to write a message on the inside while you're sending it to someone, and it brightens their day. There's a message I'm giving to the person that's receiving it. I want to read you a couple of the notes without the names, but I want you to hear what this is, what this is doing. I know things have been rough for you, but I hope this gift puts a smile on your face and some encouragement. You are amazingly talented, and I know you will make it through. Hang in there. Love, Ma. Brother, I know life has been challenging. I want to say I'm proud of you and keeping everything together, staying true to yourself. I love you, and I know you can shoulder this, and we'll be a better person about it. You ready for this next one? This next one's awesome. You are one of the strongest people I know. Your recovery from brain surgery has been difficult, but you are getting stronger every day. Our son watches you during process and sees the warrior his mom is. We love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Wow.
And happy birthday.
Wow.
Wow. Jeez.
Shout out to
Mother's
that
Day
mom.
and happy birthday. So
recovery.
I'm so in love with this product and what it's doing to families. If you haven't gone yet and send one of these to someone, it's called Zest It Forward. We have the link right there on vtmerch.com. And on top of that, new merch here. This will fly in no time because we only did limited supply of this. For those of you guys that just want to go to work and wear something to get reaction from others, we have the new limited edition Gulf of America hat. It used to be Gulf of Mexico cross stuff. Now it says Gulf of America. Okay, we have different versions of it. Another one that says Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico. On the side, it says Future Looks Bright. On the back, it says Valuetainment.
That's sick right
And
there.
this one is sick.
That's
This
my
will go.
favorite.
This,
I
this
love
is
that
going to
one.
fly off the shelves. Gulf of America,
I
Valuetainment,
want that
red,
one.
white, and blue. This is legit. And then we got the shirts to match the hats.
This is
so
where it's at. This
go
is
place an
sexy.
order. Anything above $100 shipping and handling is free. But anything you place the order, you will get. Oh, by the way, this goes with the hats.
That goes
Check
with the
this out.
hat.
Look at this. Put this with the
is
hat.
sick.
Oh, that's
That is
bad.
actually pretty sick.
That
right
works.
there. Okay, that's actually
Chris
pretty
is
sick right
killing
there.
it.
Together. Anyways,
And then this
go to vtmerch.com, place your order. Keychain, zoom in on the keychain so they can see it. A Valuetainment and US keychain will be sent to you right there. Zoom in a little bit on that keychain. There you go. Check that out. It's pretty sick. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order. Let the world know it's officially Gulf of America. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.